suppose. These two players are key players of each team. Wands and I think that's Baichi there in the middle.
It's Baichi. So Fortress will actually be banned. So even though Hunters have first pick right here, they're going to remove that Fortress. We'll see response is no Adagio, says FKK, and now the Arden first pick. Well, we just talked about Queen's Arden.
Yeah.
But that will force him onto the Catherine pick, which is sort of the tertiary roam pick, but they're actually going to go for the Finn. So first time we see Kestrel, first time we see Finn tonight. Yeah,
we got a lot of information that Finn was pretty popular in Korea and NA, I think it was.
Yeah, NA, yes.
But we hadn't seen it from any of the NA teams. In fact, we see it from a Chinese team here. So that's going to be interesting to see how they play it out here. We do see Scarf is the pick over Celeste. Nowadays, I think that makes a lot of sense.
And that's the first Scarf we're going to see of the evening. And interestingly, too, and those names are just wrong with the pictures. That is, Queen is, and Juan's been reversed there. But in any event, we will see the Scarf coming through, a hero we expect to see a little bit more of in terms of play tonight. And the Arden alongside the Glaive, a hero that with Wands we really wouldn't expect him to play. He's not ever really been a Glaive player, so that is a bit of a surprise.
Oh, and this makes a lot of sense. I mean, Godfather going on the lane Glaive, which I think we have seen him do this once before.
Yes, we have.
And Wands, we were talking about it before, he hasn't really changed too much. He's playing that Crystal Power jungle in that Scarf.
Yeah, it has been an interesting aspect of Hunter's play is that Wands shown that he can run with some of these ranged Crystal Power carries in the jungle, and that's the way that Hunters likes to play the game. Baichi, of course, be playing that jungle Kestrel, firing out a couple glimmer shots there to finish off the camp. Big Star Sun lurking in the brush right now, and Finn is taking a look around, but will get tagged a little bit there by the Scarf.
I want to say once again for one of the last times, I feel, as you guys may not know it if you are joining us late, but we are playing on 1.16 patch that since 1.17 came out like a week ago, we're not necessarily going to jump right into 1.17 as there still are some bugs. There's still some, you know, the players are not used to it, so we want to give them time, probably get into that in the semifinals, but 1.16, also the patch that Finn received a small buff on his A, on his Quibble. Give him a little bit of extra radius there.
Yeah, it does make it easier to land some of those stuns. Going for a little bit of harassment right there, the use of the Vanguard shield. One thing that is going to be interesting for FKK, they've got some good poke there, of course, with the Kestrel Glimmer Shot, but one thing they're lacking a little bit is initiation, and if Big Star Sun can't hit his hooks, I would be very worried for the likes of FKK because the kiting is going to be very good with the Scarf and the Arden combination. They're going to go in right now. There's the afterburn. Alpaca is going to get hit a little bit, gooped there and slowed down, but he will escape. So how are they actually going to get the damage down is going to be the question here for FKK, because just dodging straight in isn't really going to be an option with the Gauntlet and the Dragon's Breath available.
See Queen on camera there, our only female player in the entirety of the VIPL. Last season, Season 2, we did have a Japanese female player that joined us, but is not in this season of VIPL, whereas Queen is still around.
Universal Civils, the Japanese team last time. They have not made a return. That would be Team GL. They did compete in the Rage Final.
You're talking about how are they going to get that damage down? Well, Big Star Sun on that Finn already landing a couple of those quibbles and doing a bit of damage himself.
Here we go. Trying to initiate this one. Big Star Sun getting quite low, though. He may have picked a fight. He didn't want. There's the afterburn to finish it off. It looks like Super Alpaca will pick up one on the backside. Queen will fall. Godfather getting low. There is Scarf. He can't quite finish it. Goop slowing him down just in time. Godfather trying to use that Book of Eulogies right now. Wands, though, coming in for some impressive damage. Forces the boot active use out of Super Alpaca. He is a fast Alpaca.
Yes, he is. And That was a really impressive goop. We're going to get to see a replay of the entire fight here. Lots of damage going down, but Big Star Sun getting a little bit too far ahead of himself. Godfather eating a shot from the turret, but the afterburn hit there onto Super Alpaca as well as the goop keep him away and in safety.
Do see the skirmishing back in the mid lane going down. Wands has now come in to pick up a little bit of that farm in the lane. Meanwhile, Godfather's Glaive heads back down towards the shop. We'll see if they swap it up once more. Wands picking up Heavy Prism now for some extra crystal power. And we could see the switch of Scarf into the lane. Trying to set up this pick, and there's the goop slowing him down, lit on fire, or on ice, I guess, in this Scarf skin.
It blew fire, I guess, but kind of interesting there. So far, Hunters has been very aggressive in this lane. Polite Company going to keep everybody around, but not quite able to follow up that up is FKK.
So here we are. Godfather back in the lane right now. Scarf returning to the jungle. No big farm leads developing for either team as of this juncture.
And Hunter's another one of those teams in the past that we used to say was always very aggressive, but so far in this game, they've been looking for picks, but I think they only had one real big opportunity, and that was when Big Star Sun got kind of a little bit too far ahead. See what happens here.
Yeah, trying to draw them in there. Big Star Sun may get some options. Afterburn going to knock Super Alpaca out. Godfather on point. Glimmer shot, not quite going to land. Queen doesn't get hit by that last one as it rattles by the turret. Wands now back up and back in lane. Of course, has that good wave clear, so trying to make sure that they can't take this turret immediately. They will get some good damage down, though. Big Star Sun brings in Wands for a little bit, but no poke there from the Kestrel. Primarily interested in the turret. Nope. That's going to miss, so Kestrel shot dodged out pretty easily there by Wands.
Kestrel, an interesting pick in the jungle herself. Going to be a lot of sustained DPS, of course, and nice poke damage for Bai Chi. I loved the way he was stutter stepping when the members of Hunters were under their own turret. He was getting just a last couple of hits off onto Queen before going for that last Glimmer shot. It didn't pay off in a kill, but definitely denotes that he's quite a fantastic mechanical player here. And looking forward to see what else he can pull off on that Kestrel.
Kestrel, always a fun hero to watch at the high level. See if they can nail some of those skill shots. Queen taps Big Star Stun right there. Takes a little bit of damage. No all-in potential. Godfather again back in the lane. Godfather going for the tension bow. We saw the Glaive come in earlier for Gangstars, choosing that Sorrow Blade first. So a little bit of an earlier power spike here for the Glaive, but not as much late-game strength. But Wands will fill the late-game strength gap pretty nicely.
Yeah, for sure. And that definitely is probably part of the reason why they are going for this build. Godfather, pretty aggressive himself, also picking up a weapon infusion. They may want to go for a fight in just a bit here. They are pushing the lane. That gold mine is nearing completion here. Or, I guess not really completion, but near full. 3/4 of the way at this point.
Missed ult there from Baichi. Spitfire is coming in from the side, just checking that brush, seeing if they get some free poke damage off. And Wands just farming very safely from range. No one really committing to much yet. Both these teams could be pretty confident in the late game, but there we go. Afterburn trying to isolate Super Alpaca. Nice hook, though, from Big Star Sun. Prevents the follow-up. Well done to help his ally get out of trouble right there, as several members of Hunters were in pursuit, but they have been chunked out, and Hunter's going to take this opportunity to go for the mine.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need the kill. You just need to push the enemy away. It looks like Super Alpaca may want to go for the steal, but does not get it, and gets a little bit too far ahead here, taking a huge amount of damage, and does go down.
Wow, he definitely did not want to go for that one. The gauntlet was dropped there, didn't even need it in the end, really, as the damage was already there from the tension bow and the poking there from Wands' scarf. So a little bit of an overcommitment when they could have just played it cool. Unlikely they were going to pick this one up.
Yeah, especially as a Vox, you don't necessarily have a huge amount of burst damage. He wasn't close enough as the Vox even to try to auto it down or adding any damage done, really. So essentially just gave himself away and giving the gold mine and the kill to Hunters.
Broken Myth first here for Juan, so looking to stack up that damage early on. Thinks he's got enough peel with the Arden and the Glaive already on his team, so no need to go for that early Frostburn.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially Fountain of Renewal already picked up here for Queen. Going to keep that sustain and the rest of her team very high in that health. And we see one for Finn as well on the side of FKK. And so far, even though Hunter's slightly ahead here, it's been decently even, only 2-1 in terms of those kills so far.
Still quite an even game, and Kestrel ult taking 500 off of Queen's health total. Will be a weapon power Kestrel, should be noted, in this game, so using some of that armor penetration on Kestrel's kit. But not going for those big crystal power glimmer shots, though.
Yeah, and we see that double weapon power once again on the side. Godfather taking a huge amount of damage.
They're going to back off, though. Vanguard will protect Wands. There's a Dragon's Breath really going in on this one. Active camouflage used from Baichi. He picks the wrong direction, though. And there, we see the Gauntlet going down, but it's just not going to get any stun. Will allow Wands to escape. Tried for a cute little play right there to follow up on the low members of FKK, but he picked the wrong direction, thinking that they had headed south. With that active camo, wasn't the case. Baichi just went back to his turret. Godfather trying to follow up right now. There's the damage from that early game tension bow, still coming through for Godfather, and Big Star Sun is in trouble.
The play there by the Wands, getting 2 of those kills, that was unbelievable.
Really nicely done. Chasing him down as they commit, and now, of course, Scarf with his perk just able to burn through these turrets so quickly. No problem for them to really take the second big objective of the game. They got that big gold miner. They're going to get another one right now. And they took that first turret. Let's take a look at this replay.
Yeah, Wands really, well, we start off with Godfather. Wands kind of the backup there, but the burst from Godfather on that Glaive, and then this play, just the wherewithal to land the one Spitfire onto the running away Kestrel is very low, and also get that last auto attack onto Finn.
It's Godfather, at least the architect of that last play, with a nice stun into the wall. Nets them a pretty healthy advantage now. It's been a bit of a slow burner to this point in time, but that was the big edge that Hunters needed to start to pull away in this game.
Yeah, and you can see FKK, they want something bad to catch up here. You see that hook, the ultimate for Finn, is up and ready already in the enemy bush here. Looking for a pick. They'd like to get Scarf at this point. They have a lot of burst with that Kestrel too. Let's see what he can get.
There's a nice hook, gets Wands in, but he turns around immediately, uses his boots. There's Queen, comes in with the Gauntlet. She's on top of Super Alpaca right now. Baichi, the first to fall on the outside towards the rest of the team. Super Alpaca trying to Sonic Zoom through the team and take out Queen. Will succeed in that endeavor, and can he get away? Looks like no. Scarf gonna pick up the kill with the perk, looks like. Burning him down over time. And there's the ace for Hunters as they split apart the members of FKK with that Arden ultimate.
Hunters is back, man. They're looking so on point today.
Yeah, they look great.
Just the response to the hook, down to just, you know, Godfather's mechanics is what I was looking at in that fight.
I mean, he reflex blocked, boots active instantly to get himself out of that one, like during the hook animation, so nicely done. Yeah, look at how fast he manages to hit those abilities and turns it around. Goop and the Spitfire to light it up.
Yeah, and look at that, the perfect gauntlet. Godfather cleaning it up with his Blood Song there, and immediately after burning to get onto Super Alpaca, gains that just extra bit of damage to take him down with the Scarf Burn. They eventually do get that ace.
Now, big advantage here for the members of Hunters. FKK playing on the back foot. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Tough to engage. That hook doesn't do the work it has to do, basically. There is no more engage opportunities for FKK. Lose another gold miner here. They aren't even going to try and contest it.
Decent gold payout collected.
Yeah, you see them just backing up, and even with the hook available from Finn, they're like, no, we can't fight at this point. And maybe some of what we saw Team GL fail to do is what we'll see out of FKK, which is this nice turtling. We used to see this all the time from these teams that would get behind. They're just like, well, we're just going to play at this turret. Kraken isn't up yet. We're just going to get whatever farm we can, but we're going to just make sure we don't give any big objectives to the enemy team anytime soon.
I mean, the big turtling team won the last season of VIPL. Ardent Alliance made a tournament of turtling, and they managed to pull out some pretty impressive come-from-behind victories, and that led them to that first place. Of course, that team is now known as TSM.
Yeah.
TSM org picking them up. Fortunately, they will not be joining us for this season of the VIPL, but fantastic team and definitely much more of a passive play style.
Yeah, a lot like Invincible Armada. Those guys just played it back. We saw them play like a Saw composition even once with Adagio Arden, just lock them down and buff up the Saw and just push the lane as much as possible with all three members. It was pretty insane, that team.
And those Saw Siege comps were pretty entertaining to watch. Now the Siege is on, though. Of course, it's very hard to stop this Scarf from doing that damage. Trying to throw out some poke of their own with the help of the Kestrel ult. But still, that tower chipped just a little bit. And we will see Hunters fall back and cycle through to try and take this Kraken.
Yeah, let's see if FKK responds to this. I don't believe they will. They may just try to throw down some flares and see if they can get a hook possibly onto Wands, who's in that tri-brush, but
Scarf can just do that Kraken so fast. With the percent HP damage, really just tears through it on a couple of items as we see. And here we go. Kraken has been unleashed in favor of Hunters. Can they push further into the base with this? Got all the tools necessary to do so. They can dive. The Arden and the Glaive, they can sit back and poke with the Scarf if they like.
yeah, look at this Scarf once again. This is part of the reason why we were kind of surprised that we didn't see Scarf picked in the first two games. I feel like in the first game, the teams definitely had some certain compositions in mind, but for the second one, would have liked to see a Scarf, but we see it here. We see that Siege going down.
You have to be careful. Godfather coming through, and they're just zoning him out right now. Gauntlet is down, but everybody's in. And that's an easy first kill onto the Finn. Queen now trying to follow this up. Queen getting low, will die to a turret shot. But Kraken still at 50% HP and starting to hammer away onto these turrets. Baichi trying to do work onto Wands. No, I want to watch the game right now, please.
I mean, Baichi is taken out. He's taken out the Scarf now, trying to get Godfather, but Godfather is just ignoring him, trying to get those buildings.
1 second till Afterburn, though, and he's going to come back around. There we go.
Oh.
And Baichi just barely lives. They're going to get the ace in the end. Too bad we couldn't see it. And the Kraken gets the Vein Crystal down to about 50%, but they can't quite finish that game. But still, 3 turrets down in just for the ace. Pretty good trade there. If you are Hunters, no real chance for FKK to run all the way back down the map and finish off 5 turrets in a row.
Yeah, definitely going to be impossible here. We see Finn picking up a Warhorn. I think, you know, after that fight, they pick up the Kraken Gold. I think they may want to just go for one big last attempt. I wouldn't call it desperate. This is probably going to be their best time in this game, but it's just going to be like, we get this Warhorn, we try to get the perfect engage, try to jump onto that Scarf, and try to at least get some kind of pressure from our side going here. Maybe get a turret or two in this game.
I think the big issue now, Wands, that latest shop has the Eve of Harvest, so Sustain going to be up there. They may have caught Godfather, though. They're going to draw him in. Godfather just going to afterburn his way out. Queen drops the gauntlet nearly immediately. Wands going to come in with the Dragon Breath. Everybody is there just getting hit by the Scarf, and that means Queen going to force Super Alpaca into the tri-brush. There's the follow-up for Godfather. Can't quite kite enough, and Wands, in the middle of everything, does get hit by that Quibble. But he's got the sustain. He's got the crowd control to keep on moving. Wands takes a bit of damage from the Kestrel ultimate, but the afterburn actually not quite enough right there. Came into Big Star Sun in the brush. Didn't expect that one, so it will be 2-for-1 actually in favor of FKK as Godfather starts that fight by face-checking a brush in a 2v3.
Yeah, and it definitely could have gone a lot worse for Team Hunters here, but they were so far ahead. But after that fight, I mean, they're giving FKK a chance to come back in this game. This is not over by any means. FKK could definitely group up here. The Kraken's up again, and still Godfather is down. So let's see what FKK wants to do with this long death timer at 19 minutes now into the game.
Well, they don't look like they want to do the Kraken with Super Alpaca still pushing the lane. And they may just want to try and turn this one around off of a Kraken attempt from the members of Hunters. Finally, we see Wands start to pick up some defensive items, light armor, and here's the first push. FKK looking to get their first turret of the game here at 19 minutes. Pretty late, but they're going to grab it. They have a lot of damage there from range. Wan's actually going to poke him out right now. Super Alpaca already very low. Godfather stunned up in the brush. Baichi, though, with the glaive on top of Super Alpaca, trying to turn this one around. There's the Dragon's Breath, and wow, that is just melting everything. Quibble going to stop it at least for the moment, but Big Star Sun still in a lot of trouble. Baichi alive. Somehow on the outside, looks like he just dodged out somewhere up north of the screen with his active camo. Active camo again. There's Godfather. Can he actually take him out? No, the afterburn will get him to safety. Active camo dropped again, but Queen is there with the finisher. Vanguard into Blood for Blood, and that'll be the kill. And now Godfather just making a beeline straight for the Vein Crystal. He'll have no problem using his autos and that twisted stroke to take out the Crystal, and this game in favor of Hunters. Bit slow here. Wands catches up.
They finally do get that Vein Crystal. Queen getting the last kill on that Arden.